What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of my new career mode. This is episode number 10. Wow, already into double figures. And we start today's episode off with a transfer offer for our goalkeeper Padelli here, but we ask for £10 million, and that's probably not going to be met. But even so, we also start the episode off by hiring a youth scout as well. As you could probably tell by the title, we hire a youth scout in today's episode for the first time in the series. We pick up this guy, Francesco Marchesi, 5-star judgment, 3-star experience. We had the money to do so, and I thought, why not, basically? Why not get a youth scout? Because, you know, I've made the point a couple of times now that youth academies and youth scouts don't really do as good as they used to. Back in FIFA 13, for example, youth scouting was a lot easier than it is nowadays to find really world-class talent quite often. Now it's a lot harder, which some people think is a good thing. Some people think it's a lot more realistic, if you will. But for me, I just preferred it back then because it meant that your chances of, you know, getting your money's worth for buying a youth scout was a lot higher, and you know, getting world-class players through your academy was a lot higher, and that made the game more fun for me. Now it's a little bit more difficult. It's still possible, of course, no one's going to deny that, but it's a little bit more difficult now. But even so, we hire a youth scout. He's got 5-star judgment, 3-star experience. I do believe the experience category doesn't actually matter unless you actually look for a type of youth player. I might be wrong about that, so don't sue me if I am, but judgment, I think, is still the most important stat. Even so, he's got 5-star judgment, 3-star experience. We send him out to Italy on a 6-month mission, so he'll be done in June, and hopefully during that time, during the space of these 6 months, he'll pick us up some decent Italian players, and we'll get some through the Torino academy. Because, you know, I know that some of you guys do like youth scouting, and I don't tend to do it as much as I used to do back in FIFA 13, for example. When I did my first like proper real long career mode, I had some great youth players coming through the academy. Of course, the standout one, Felipe Marcano, who no one will ever forget. But even so, nowadays it's a little bit more difficult. But even so, we've hired a youth scout, and hopefully he'll turn out to be worth his money, and hopefully we'll get some decent players coming through the academy. But even so, we also have some new bids for Poloski and Padelli, as you would have seen there as well. I said in the last episode, I don't see either of those players leaving. Poloski is the top goal scorer right now. He scored a brace against Kiev Verona, his former club, in the last game. He's the big reason as to why we're top of the table right now. And Padelli is leading the league in clean sheets. He's been a pretty solid goalkeeper for us as well. So I have no plans to sell either of those two players, and I think they'll both stay. And we take on Milan for the first game of today's episode here as well, as Milan come and take us on at home. And the first chance would fall to the away side as well, as Nigel de Jong goes down the left-hand side and finds Jeremy Menez. He crossed the ball in towards Kazuki Honda at the far post, and is flicked down towards Bonaventura. His shot is well saved by the goalkeeper though, and eventually it comes back to the far post from the cross. De Jong wins the header and hits the bar, and eventually we scramble the ball away. So Milan looking pretty dangerous early on. They had another great chance in the 26th minute as Honda cuts inside, gets tackled by Maximovic, but it comes to Antonelli. Back inside towards the Japanese player Honda, and eventually a shot comes in the centre, but Volanta makes the challenge and turns behind for a corner. So still 0-0, but the first real chances were coming to Milan, and to be honest, in the opening half an hour, we'd barely been out of their own half. It was all Milan coming forward. Another great chance here as Menez finds Honda, and he does indeed open the scoring for Milan just past the half an hour mark, and it was more than deserved as well. They were looking really threatening right from the first minute. They came here with a game plan, put us under as much pressure as possible, and it was paying dividends. Honda with the opening goal of the game, looking really good early on, and he does open the scoring. So Torino 0, Milan 1, Honda with the opening goal of the game there, his 4th goal in Serie A. And we do fall behind in the first half. In the second half, 8 minutes after the restart, we had a good chance to equalise here as Baselli finds Florenzi. He finds Quagliarella back inside towards Gabbiadini. Gabbiadini finds Florenzi, who shoots from range and does find the back of the net as well. Really nice finish by Florenzi. He did score a couple of games ago against Genoa, and he scores here as well. I've mentioned before Florenzi, I've said it a few times, and I'll say it again now. I don't think the guy is going to grow forever, because I think his potential is locked now. But even so, he puts in solid performances every single game. That's now his 4th goal in the Serie A as well, and a really nice strike. So the number 11 makes it Torino 1, Milan 1, and directly from kickoff here as Milan pass the ball around. Eventually the goal scorer Honda gets on the ball and finds Antonelli. After a couple of passes, we win the ball back off Bonaventura, with Perez making the challenge down the right hand side. Plays it inside towards Poloski. Poloski plays it back towards Bruno Perez down the right hand side. The right back has so much pace, no one is going to catch him. He drags it back to Poloski, and Poloski gets his 3rd goal in 2 games and makes it Torino 2, Milan 1. So a really nice finish by Poloski there, and Perez winning the ball back, playing the 1-2 with the goal scorer, then giving it back to Poloski, who does make it Torino 2, Milan 1. So nice finish by Poloski there. Really good work from Perez too. Another assist for our right back, who, you know, a lot of you guys ask me why Darmian doesn't play too many games. It's primarily because Perez is just such an awesome right back, and I have no plans to change him, to take him out of the side. But even so, Torino 2, Milan 1. In the 68th minute, there was a great chance for Milan to equalise, and they would as well. This one was not as good as the first goal though. Keizuki Honda does equalise and get his second goal of the game for the away team. However, as you may have seen it on the first glimpse, you'll see it here better on the replay. As Honda takes the shot, it takes a huge deflection there off Bruno Perez, goes past Padelli and rolls into the bottom corner. So I think otherwise Padelli would have saved it, because it looked like it was going to go straight at him, but even so, it takes a deflection, finds the bottom corner. Honda's going to claim it, and it's Torino 2, Milan 2. So Milan back on level terms. In the 90th minute, the final chance fell here as El Kaduri takes it around Montolivo and shoots, but can't hit the target, and it goes over the bar and behind for a goal kick. And it was how the game would finish as well. Torino 2, Milan 2. And this is the first time we have failed to win at home all season, and that's a bit sad. That's a bit sad to know we haven't won for the first time all season at home. But even so, we're still undefeated at home, and that's a pretty decent record to know we had 9 wins at home, and then this was the 10th game, and it was the only one we failed to win at home. So that's a pretty impressive record, you know, to pick up a possible 28 points out of 30 at home is really, really impressive. So yes, it's sad to know you didn't win for the first time at home, but even so, 28 points out of possible 30 to start the series off with Torino at home is a really impressive haul. Regardless, following that, we saw that Padelli and Poloski, as you can see, those clubs aren't going to match the counter offers we asked for. Not a real surprise. We didn't expect them to do either, and there you go. They're still going to come in. There's still going to be a ton of clubs coming in for Padelli and Poloski, because they are leading the league in clean sheets and goals scored respectively, but I don't see any of them matching the counter offers we're asking for. But Molinari looks like he's on his way out of the club to Livorno for 625 grand. That's okay with me, because his contract's up at the end of the year anyway. He doesn't play really any games at all. In fact, I don't think he's played once all season, so Molinari is going to go, and that's okay with me. And also, a few of you guys have been commenting about this guy called Tommaso Berni, an Italian goalkeeper that plays for Inter Milan right now, 31 years old. Apparently he's a glitch goalkeeper, and he gets to like 87 overall after one season or something ridiculous. Right now, it doesn't look like that's the case, but even so, maybe in the next episode we'll go and sign on a pre-contract, just in case you guys are right. I think you guys are probably just pulling my leg, to be honest, but even so, I've seen a few comments from you guys saying you got to sign this guy on a pre-contract. He does glitch out after the first season. I think you guys are just joking with me, but we'll probably offer him a contract in the next episode anyway, because we will need a backup goalkeeper next year, as our current backup goalkeeper is retiring. But even so, we'll have to wait and see what happens, and there you go. Still, we take on Modena for the second and final game of today's episode. Here is the Serie B side come and take us on at home for a Coppa Nazionale game, or a TIM Cup game, I think it's called now for sponsorship reasons. And even so, take on Modena, the Serie B side. We did decide to rest 11 players for this game as well, and the first goal was scored by Amari too in the opening 10 minutes. However, it was not given to Amari. It actually went down as an own goal here off this player, the captain for Modena, and I thought it should have gone down to Amari, personally speaking, because the shot was on target, but even so, it goes down as an own goal. I don't really care though. It's 3-1 Modena 0, and we do take the lead in this game. And in the 30th minute, we got ourselves our second goal as well. Amari scores, and this time the goal is not going to be taken away from our striker. Darmian wins the ball down the right hand side, swings it across. Amari wins the header and does make it 2-0 to Torino. So I do really like using Darmian. I know a lot of you guys want me to use him more, but I like him as an energy player off the bench, and whenever he does start games as well, every now and then he always puts in a good shift. So he's a bench player really. He's our 12th man basically, all the energy he puts in from coming off the bench, but even so, a solid player, and he does get the assist for that goal. So Torino 2, Modena 0. They went pretty close to get themselves back in the game there just before the 40th minute mark, but the shot was off target and behind for a goal kick. We would make it 3-0 though in the 44th minute. Amari turned provider for this goal. Lovely little ball through towards Martinez. He rounds the goalkeeper and puts it in off the inside of the post and makes it Torino 3, Modena 0. So Martinez as well, just like Darmian, a pretty solid player for us. Whenever he does play, he plays pretty well, but I like him off the bench as an injection of pace, a bit more energy coming on after like 60-65 minutes. But this game you got to start just like Darmian, and both of them were playing pretty well. So Martinez getting the goal there, and it is Torino 3, Modena 0. So 3 goals up in this game, and you know, in the cup we're not really going to be too focused about it. Our main aim is qualifying for the Champions League, so not really too fussed what happens. But even so, this is a great chance for these sort of fringe players to show that they are good enough to start games, and they were playing pretty well as well. You know, all the players in this game were playing pretty well. We were 3 goals up. Yes, we're taking on the Serie B side, but even so, 3 goals up in this game, looking pretty good. good. They had a great chance to make it 4-0 here in the 75th minute as well. Barreto swings on a free kick. Martinez wins the header. This is a good save with the goalkeeper and turn behind for a corner though. Always how the game would finish though. Torino 3, Modena 0. So we are through to the next round of the TIM Cup. Delighted with that. We get through to the quarterfinals. That was the objective that the board set for us at the start of the season. So regardless of what happens in the quarterfinals, we'll be pretty pleased to know we've matched that objective and the board will not complain. But even so, a 3-0 victory and a pretty good performance of that from all the players out there. But that does end the episode, guys. So as always, a big thank you for watching the video. Really hope you have enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed today's episode of my new career mode, then please do leave a like. It's much appreciated and really does help my channel out. And I'll see you for the next episode of my new career mode very soon.